My husband's 38M actions towards his daughters 16F abuse is bothering me 34F. My stepdaughter confided to us that her grandfather, my Phil, has been sexually abusing her for years. I was home alone with my daughter yesterday. Somehow the conversation of whether she was going to report the abuse came up. I encouraged her to talk to a therapist who will help her. Told my husband after he came home and his reaction wasn't the best. He was mad at me for pushing her to go to the police or even see a therapist. He said his grandfather is still his dad and that he's remorseful as is. Apparently, he is still going to be in contact with his dad. Am I right to be upset and ultimately thinking about divorce? Do you have other children? Because if you do, then their safety is paramount. The man is a sexual predator, and your husband acts like an enabler. We have a 5-year-old boy together. Thank you for pointing that out. I agree. He said his grandfather is still his dad. Is his daughter not still his daughter? Her going to therapy is going to in no way affect the grandfather, except in that it might make her feel more secure in herself so she refuses to ever see the grandfather again, which she should never have to do. Yeah, you're right to be upset. I live in the US. Therapists are mandated reporters. Therapy will definitely affect dear old granddad. I think that's exactly why this son doesn't want his own child to get therapy. He's been conditioned to protect the family pedophile. In pedo families, nobody matters more than keeping the secret. I would 100% get a divorce. Please. As a victim of abuse, call out his shitty behavior if it's in front of her. She is the victim. She matters most. My 25M girlfriend, 24F, just accused me of cheating on her with my friend, 20M. Throwaway account, for privacy reasons. I am the lead vocalist of a band, and, for the record, I am not gay. I do not hold anything against LGBTQ people, but I am straight, and I have never cheated or given my girlfriend a reason to think I was. My girlfriend has had bad previous relationships before, though. Recently, because COVID-19 has been calmed down somewhat, and because we all needed the extra money, we played at a club in the city where I live. I don't want to give too many details here, but my friend, who is the guitarist of the group, is suicidal, mentally ill, and cuts himself frequently. There is not much I can do because he refuses to get help and is stubborn as a literal mule, though it eats me alive daily, knowing what he does to himself. After our show, my friend had a complete mental breakdown and started sobbing backstage and trying to reopen the stitches that he has over some deep cuts. I was trying to comfort and restrain him at the same time, so I bear hugged him, and he hugged me back and just sort of let himself go. I was trying to comfort him, and then my girlfriend came running out of nowhere, and she grabbed my arm, pulled me up, and accused me of cheating. As you can understand, I was confused by this, and she accused me of cheating on her with my friend behind her back and using her for money, even though I earn more than her, before shoving me away and walking off. I got another band member to watch over the guitarist and followed her back home. We argued for hours over the whole thing until we eventually just went our separate ways. She's in the bedroom, and I'm on the couch as I write this. Can somebody tell me what to do? I don't want our relationship to be ruined just because I was trying to be a good friend. Hey 24F, I know you think I cheated, but if I can't even comfort someone close to me with life-threatening issues without you blowing up, I can't see myself to continue this relationship. Would be a start. Dump her. Your friend needed you and she made it about her and was okay you prioritizing her instead of your hurt friend. That's fucked up. Sounds like your GF is very toxic. If you can't show compassion to a friend without her going ballistic, then get her out of your life ASAP. Doesn't matter if your bandmate is male or female, a hug is something everyone needs sometimes. I don't want our relationship to be ruined just because I was trying to be a good friend. Well, that's on her then. You did nothing wrong, but she's extremely jealous to the point that you can't console desperate, suicidal friends. Is that who your future should be with? Is it possible she is projecting back onto you? By projecting, I mean, is it possible she cheated and is so insecure she thinks you will too? I've had experience with this, and they tend to stretch scenarios of the string bean scenario that is purely innocent involving care for another and turn it into volcanoes of mass destruction. As you said, if one is straight, how can it actually be true? Whatever you do, sir, do not apologize for caring for your friend. Even in sarcasm. It's a very simple line and she is crossing it extremely poorly. My partner, 34M, committed suicide and now I, 34F, feel broken, unsupported and invalidated. My partner took his own life around 2 months ago. He struggled with severe mental illness and I stayed with him until the cops told me to leave our home for my own safety. I was the last person he chose to speak to and I still grieve for him every day. He left behind minor children from a previous marriage who I absolutely love and adore. Now that the dust is about to settle, his former partner is wanting all of his insurance money and is denying me access to it despite the insurer's decision of me getting a small portion of it. It feels like a stab in the chest being minimized and invalidated, especially when I was the only one who stayed behind when everyone else abandoned him at his lowest points. I know that if I keep fighting for myself, I would lose access to his children and it breaks my heart. And if I give everything up, I won't have the resources to help pay for going back to university to study mental health, as I developed a passion for it while caring for my mentally ill partner. It is a lose-lose situation all around, but I need help in seeing my situation outside of myself to come up with the strength to do the right thing. Edit, just for everyone's information. First, yes, we had been in a relationship for only 6 months. The first 4 months of which were great and we saw the children once a week or a fortnight, depending on their availability. He relapsed the last 2 months with alcohol, which led to suicide. And second, the insurer has already decided that I get a small portion, 10%, of the death benefit, which the ex-partner is currently contesting. I don't mean to be insensitive, but I couldn't imagine knowing someone for only 6 months and after a tragedy like this happens having the main concern be how to access his insurance money. I'm sorry for your loss, but please think about how hard this must be for his kids and their mother as well. I'd like to understand why you and his insurer think that you are entitled to his money. Lady, not to be rude, but you sound selfish as hell. As someone who lost their dad at a young age, those kids and their mom will need everything they can get. So what if you were there for him? It doesn't entitle you to money, especially for a 6-month-long relationship. It's valid that you are grieving, but invalid that you want money he left for his kids. I genuinely thought they were together for several years and gasped when I read the 6 months. Get back here and answer for your crimes. Okay, not to take away from the pain of his death, for that I hope you seek grief counseling and get the help you need, but since you're here asking for advice, your prior posts show you were only together for 6 months. His ex-wife and his minor children that she is raising, now without their father, deserve all of the money. You may benefit from getting free schooling, and if you want to study mental health and help more people later, that's great, but that doesn't help his actual kids that you love so much right now. Would 100% want any insurance money to go to the now fatherless minor children he left behind. As for access to them, again, if you were only with him for 6 months, weren't married, and presumably they mainly lived with their mother, then the amount of time you spent with them was minimal. Then I don't think having continued access to them is necessarily in their best interest either. Asking for a chance to spend some time with them before saying goodbye, maybe the opportunity to send cards for special occasions, etc. But if giving continued access to essentially a legal stranger, that's what not married is, they knew for several months is not what their mother wants to do, that's her prerogative. Again, I'm sorry you went through this, and I hope you do get the support you need. The short length of time you were together does not make your pain invalid, but it does make a great impact on these separate issues of money and excess. For your Reddit, Yeah, no. You should not be getting 10% of the money going to his fatherless children because you dated their father for a few months. Kids, you saw 10x. I take back my no offense in a prior comment. That is criminal. Can't believe you think you're entitled to take money from his children. It's not like they're tacking on an extra 10% for you. You're literally taking it from them. Awful. Holy crap. Insurance money is to replace the lost income of the deceased. In this case, that would go to his kids and ex who is raising them. Life insurance isn't a consolation prize for being a good person, and as an ex of 6 months, you really have no claim to his potential unearned income. Sorry for your loss.